Hello, you're listening to Hibs Talk. I'm your host as always, Gav. Joining me today is Dave.
Alright.
And Craig.
Alright.
How you doing, Craig?
Good,
start with you, so you didn't go in the half.
We didn't start with me, still started with Dave, so...
I did it in order, but I was asking how you're doing
it's
first.
fine, good mate, you?
Good, how's your weekend been?
Quiet.
Yeah.
Quiet. What did I do actually? Not done anything.
What about yourself, Dave?
Went to the beach. No, actually went to the beach on Saturday night and Alfie and my wee sister were lobbing rocks into the water.
As long as it's into the water.
No, like cars or something.
No.
What about yourself, Dave? What have you been up to?
It's not worked all weekend, mate.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately. So I never got the end of the English League drama or anything. Well, there was not much drama anyway, but
I'll be honest, I was really excited for it. I had the Man City game on my iPad and the Liverpool game on the telly. I was watching the two of them, getting really into it, and when Man City scored their third one, I turned the two of them off and went and done the gardening.
Can you imagine, do you know what the best bit about that weekend was? That it came out that it was the Wolves fans that were spreading around that Brighton had scored before they actually scored.
It was about a
like
minute and a half before
that is like tremendous.
Aye.
That's exactly what you. That. Do you know what? Give me that. Inject that into my veins. That's what I'm all about. Complete wind-up merchants.
Aye,
that's good.
That's tremendous.
Okay, right. So in the podcast today, we're going to be chatting about Hibs ladies win against Glasgow City, the Kilmarnock game, and the Aberdeen game. But first, just quickly, I know briefly talked about it last week about my mug and stuff, but a lot of people see we've got a new logo. Just wanted to give a shout out to Cabbage and Ribs for doing it. It was really kind of them. We didn't ask them to. They just sent over a message saying we've done a wee update your logo if you want it.
We think your logo's shit, basically.
Get rid of that Times New Roman font.
So what we've done is we've made you this nice new one. That was nice.
That is class, so it looks really good.
Really Hibs class to them to just sort of do it out with the kindness of their heart. So, but they've not asked us to plug them or anything, but we thought we would. And they've got a big cartel store where you can buy loads of Hibs t-shirts and jumpers and stuff, and they've remade the Hands Off Hibs one, which I've got my eye on.
Some of the stuff, I was looking through it, actually some of their stuff's alright.
So good guys. So check them out just because they were really nice. So anyway, Hibs ladies 0-0 with Glasgow City, 1-4-2 on penalties. That's the fourth consecutive Scottish Women's Premier League Cup for Hibs. Fair to say that they weren't the favourites going into the game though.
I think Glasgow City are pretty much seen as the dominant team in women's football in Scotland. I mean, well, Hibs, Glasgow City, and probably more so recently Celtic, since I'm sure Celtic are the only ones that are full time.
They've stepped up.
They've went full time, so they're going to be like the three of them. The rest of most of the games you see, they're like 8, 9. I follow the Hibs ladies on Twitter, and it's like goal constantly. Yeah. I know for what I read, I'm not going to lie and say that I watch a lot of women's football because I don't. But for what I'd read anyway, that Glasgow City were seen as quite, maybe not overwhelming favourites, but certainly favourites by. And most people's
seems to be that Hibs have got the number in the cups. Been on the league.
I think I'm not sure if it's their 7th or 8th consecutive cup that they've won, because they've won. I don't know if they won the Scottish Cup the year before, but they've won.
They won the double as well one year, did they?
And then this is the won the double 3 years in a row. So they've done the treble double, so on the way to do the quadruple double if they win the Scottish Cup. And I think they won the Scottish Cup the year before that as well. So tremendous.
We had some of Hibs ladies on at the end of last season.
Yeah, we've had a few on. We had Lisa on that, who's passed on, moved on to passed on.
I bet she doesn't know this.
She's moved on to Wrexham now. So no, Durham.
But no, fair play. But then she'd said that they wanted the league. It was kind of the one that was kept evading them, but you can't turn your nose up at 4 league cup wins in a row. It doesn't matter who your opposition is.
It was a close game. I know it was 0-0, so we'll not go through it, and there wasn't a lot of chances, but Jenna Fife was the hero later on, but she was called on quite early, quite a few times. But I think it's fair to say that once Hibs found their feet, we managed to keep them quiet a bit. In the second half, I know you guys have seen the instances. There was 2 main talking points. Hibs scored through Rachel Small but because of Amy Gallagher's deflection when the goalkeeper was throwing it out, it was disallowed. Is that the right call for you guys?
No. I didn't see anything wrong with it at all.
Karius and Benzema in the Champions League final last season.
Aye, very similar.
Exactly the same. As soon as the keeper releases the ball, I think maybe different if you're kicking for hand, but if they're releasing it, kicking it, no kicking for hand, but if they're releasing it from hand, throwing it out, and the ball's intercepted, then you didn't get 1, 2, 5 yards for the ball to get away.
Mm-hmm. It's their own fault.
It's a decent finish as well. Like Rachel Small took it
really composed and calm. Yeah. So should have stood. So should have been over. But and there was also Glasgow City had a claim for a penalty. What's your guys' thought on it? Was that a penalty?
No, I wouldn't have said so.
Nah. Yeah, and then like I say, 4-2 finished on penalties with Jenna Fife being the hero. So just saved the two of them. Just sort of looked at the penalty takers and just sort of read where they were putting it. Got down and put it out to the side. So yeah, really well done there. And then we spoke about the likes of Lisa going to Durham. They've lost quite a few players in recent years. You know, obviously Man United started up, and Lisa Arnott and Kirsty Smith headed there. Abby Harrison's away to Bristol City. They're full time. So lost a few players over the last sort of 18 months. It's good to see them sort of still doing well in the cups and maybe sort of drifting off in the league a bit, but
it's a good motivation for all the other girls coming through as well, that if you're, so I mean, they might have only started last season, but to go for Hibs to Man United, even in the women's game, is, that's no something to be sniffed at. And Bristol City as well, they're one of the bigger teams in England for women, so it's a good platform for them. They'll show that if they can get decent game time at Hibs, that they'll go, the chances are there for them to go, especially with Hibs being one of the dominant sides as well.
There'll be a lot of focus on the women's game as well this summer with the Women's World Cup.
Yeah, manager was there last night, so.
And because I know like TalkSport are covering all England and Scotland women's matches live on the radio. When did that happen ever before? So it's good. It's good for them.
Right. Okay, so on to less enjoyable football. Kilmarnock Hibs finished 1-0 to Kilmarnock. So main topic point for today are the players already on holiday. Heckingbottom said, we lost that game because we were rubbish. We looked like a team that had nothing to play for.
I think that's what happens when you get to this point in the season, though. If we'd have got a point or a result at Ibrox, you can pretty much guarantee that the players wouldn't have put in a performance like that. Not that it was horrific. It was just meh. It was one of the ones that was just meh.
Feel sorry for everybody that's went through, paid their money. Like I seen 1875 right now on the bounce. Like, everything that you go through as a match day person, like you buy your pies in at half time, you put your fuel to go through, some people who drinks, your ticket money. So you're forking a decent amount, and then the players are just like, nah. That can't be. What they can't admit is that they're on holiday, because that's just unacceptable. Like, so they can't come out and say that. But it would suggest that they are.
You think almost with having nothing to play for, it lets them play with a bit of freedom.
I was confused as well as why we didn't change it up that much. Like the only really one that got any game time that would be different would be Fraser Murray started.
You got the 90 minutes.
And I know, like I would have maybe changed it up a wee bit more, and I think that Heckingbottom needs to do that for the game against Aberdeen. Because this is what I said to Craig. It was like, what am I motivated by going to Hibs Aberdeen last game of the season now? Not even a wee bit. I'm going to go because I've got my season ticket, but why should fans turn up to the game and come and pay their money if the players are not going to turn up?
You're right.
So I would hope that it's a completely different attitude, and it's the last day of the season, and we try and entertain, because it's boring now. Just like Heckingbottom said, he said it was rubbish, which I'm happy about, because if he come out and defended it, then problem. Sacked.
Phone's on silent. So I can edit out on the podcast, but not on the video. So sorry, video folk, for the noise. I probably could. I'm just too lazy to do it on the video. Dave, you've got some stats for us that kind of back up that it wasn't the most.
No, that's what I was just saying. So, for example, the creativity wise, 201 lateral passes, so sideways. So we normal average about 140. So that's like a 43% increase on sideways passes.
And that's what, 20 odd more than when we all sat together at the Kilmarnock game and we were like, fucking hell, like, what is this?
Watching McGregor to Hanlon to Stevenson
to Milligan.
Yeah, to Stevenson.
That's 20 more of them.
Aye. Which is concerning. And then again, the exact same, 76 long passes. Now, that's why Scout been generous. What do we call a long pass? A hoof.
Aye.
We normally average 57, so that's a 33% increase. And the worst thing is that's the second most this season, behind the Easter Road derby, which we lost 1-0. We're chasing the game, so you can maybe see why the ball's getting shoved forward a bit more. But it does just show there's no imagination, no creativity. Like you said it down the stair. Go, I'm not going to steal your thunder.
What did I say?
About like if they're getting the ball and it's either going sideways or it's getting hoofed.
Mm-hmm.
That just that shows.
Maybe
like,
maybe their physical application's still there, but it's, it takes mental effort to think of, to be creative and to think of different ways to try and create chances.
Aye.
It's much more simpler to go, I'll just keep the ball and I'll pass it sideways, or I'll just lump it forward.
Because that's 280 passes, and as you said that, so like that's a vast majority of the game. There's no thinking in it at all, and there's nothing wrong with a sideways pass if you're building an attack.
Mm-hmm.
But we weren't building attacks, so we didn't have a counter attack the whole match. Zero counter attacks, and it's our first time since Livy away in September that's happened.
But we've seen that there is creative. Like, look at Horgan's second goal at Tynecastle. Bang, 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 goal.
Yep.
Like, we are just so slow and ponderous.
Yeah, that was the last goal we scored in open play. Horgan to Tiny. Since then we've had the better own goal. That's it.
So how much of a concern is that for you guys, the fact that we're not creating enough clear-cut chances and not scoring goals?
So what was it? 1 in 12 for McNulty, 1 in 11 for Canberra.
Yep.
You've got the minutes there, don't you?
So there's 2 goals in 23 games.
Yeah, so
for the two of them,
1,776 minutes with the two of them combined. So Canberra's is 816 and McNulty's 960, and they've scored 1 goal each in that time. And Ollie Shaw, even coming off the bench, and that's got 1 goal in 278 minutes, but you can't moan at that. But this is what else we were discussing, like surely Shaw should be like, how Mano getting a chance? So how highly do we rate Shaw if he's not getting an opportunity to come into the team when your strikers are performing like that?
And why are you coaching me to play left wing if that's the way the team's got to play it? And when we need a striker, and 2 when he's no getting
the opportunity to play it there.
Yeah.
You look at Ibrox last week, the decision was made to drop Canberra. I understand wanting to get a good look at Ryan Gold, and maybe hindsight's good thing and stuff because it wasn't that good a performance, but surely that's a chance to say to Ollie Shaw, right, Canberra's getting dropped, we're going to put you out in the left wing. That's what you're training for.
Against somebody like Tavernier probably wouldn't be the best game for, with him being such a menace in the right. But why do it in the first place? Play him through the middle. That's what I mean. Like, has McNulty got a clause on his loan deal, which means that if he's fully fit, he has to play every week? Because he started like a train, like he's started brilliantly, but he has, ever since the Scotland call-ups, he's tailed off. He missed He missed the header at Tynecastle, which would have put us 3 up. He missed the penalty against Hearts. He was
1-on-1 and he should have scored against Hearts as well at Tynecastle.
Aye, in the second half, when he could have dinked it and he almost had too much time to think about it. So there's clearly a lack of confidence there.
So a big X fault.
Aye.
Aye.
You got any more stats for us, Dave?
No, but that's so it sounds like we're being like doom and gloom, but that is at the end of the day facts, black and white. What was an AV pen, but
well, looking through some of the chances, I mean, we spoke about the amount of long balls we played again up to McNulty, who it's a bit of a physical presence stuff, but he's only like 5'10" or something. So
well, what I was saying to Dave in the car on the way over was that, what kind of striker is he?
Mm-hmm.
Like last season, Canberra was somebody who was playing on the edge. Look at the amount of times he got caught offside was because he was trying to play on the shoulder of the last defender. Jamie McLaren was somebody in and about the box. You can't gain on the ball outside the box, it's pointless because he's not got to do anything with it. But put the ball in the box and then can look at his header. Well, he scored a hat-trick against Rangers, his goal against Celtic, his goal against Hearts, all in the box. McNulty's, I just don't know what kind of striker he is.
Mm-hmm.
He's not somebody that's going to drop and link up because there's nobody to link up with. He's no going to play over the top because to me he seems like he's got a bit of pace, but he's never really given the chance to seem to use it. He's not going to get the ball like what Griffiths would and just run at players and then just leather it. So I'm really trying to figure out what kind of, other than a goal scorer, because obviously he's a good goal scorer, but what kind of player is he? What style of football does he suit? Aye.
So yeah, as we said about McNulty, he was a long ball up to him, and he kind of potentially could have been fouled, but the ball came to Fraser Murray. Good bit of play for Fraser Murray. Played it to Omiyonga, and then we've spoken in the past about Omiyonga needing to add goals to his game. Wasn't the best shot. Is this sort of another example of how he needs to kind of maybe work on that aspect of his game? Start with you, Dave.
Yeah, it is. It's one of them, innit? He needs to. So.
I've done that again where I've answered the question in my question, haven't I?
Yeah.
Aye, I've got to work on the way I work my questions.
I was going to say, you've just kind of disagree with what you're saying, so.
Couple of saves from Marciano back to back. One, the Taylor crossed it in and it kind of became a shot, and good to kind of reactions to tip it out for the corner, and then from the corner another good save.
Another news water is about Marciano's a good shot stopper.
Aye. How have you just feel he's been performing? Just show your thoughts on his performances.
He's the best keeper that we've had in a long time. Like, he's the only real criticism I've got is his kicking. That's the only real area. His distribution's not the greatest, but in terms of shot stoppers, I think you're hard pushed to. He's certainly up there with the best in the league.
Yeah, if his kicking was better, we probably wouldn't have beat Hibs.
Aye.
So we'll just got to accept that.
That's one way to look at it. Okay, next up, I have to talk about the penalty.
What penalty? You mean that thing where Bruce fell and the ref pointed at the spot? Like, it's just a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these, and you could tell Steve Clarke was embarrassed about it afterwards, even saying, we've been on the end of some dodgy decisions, but that's...
Yeah, there was never a pen.
Nah.
Alex Bruce came out afterwards and kind of stood up for himself and said David Gray had just been spoken to about having his hands all over him just a few at the previous corner by the ref, and then was doing it again.
But they're all at it though. Like, how can me grabbing you like that mean that you fall down?
Yeah.
How? Like, I get this the argument, he's been touched so he's entitled to go down. No, he's no.
To the baby test, would you drop a baby if that had happened to your baby in your arms? Would you have went down?
Aye, exactly. So it's kind of, you got to give penalties 5, 6, 7 penalties a game. I think you should. Like, this argument that a foul, it's always, you hear it, if that's anybody else in the park, it's a free kick. Why is it not a penalty?
Yeah. That'd be good.
If we're wrestling for a high ball for a free kick, if you're a striker backing into me and I've got my arms around you for a goal kick, I'm going to get a foul given against me because I'm holding you. Or on the flip side, depending on how it is, you're going to get a free kick because you're backing in.
World Cup last year, they were like, right, we're going to give penalties for everything,
and they did.
England got all those penalties amongst other teams that got them and stuff, and the amount of times that people were getting fouled like that stopped the rest of the tournament.
That's why. And I can't imagine how easy it would be to implement VAR in Scotland, given that the level. Well, one, we're skint. 2, the level of quality of refs have got to shite enough already without adding 3 or 4 more into the mix and reviewing every decision that's made.
Yeah.
But you can't. I don't buy this decisions even themselves out over the course of a season, because they don't make the right decision at the time, or stop hiding refs behind this mysterious cloak that means that they can never come out and explain their decisions or explain their games. Because Steve Clarke's been fined by the SFA a couple of times for coming out and speaking about the ref, because that could have a detrimental impact on his. If he wasn't having such a good season, one wrong decision goes against him, he loses his job. Yet you see refs, they'll get maybe demoted to the Championship for a week.
Nah, refs should have to do a post-match if there's something happened to any questions.
No, even if there's something happened, just even coming out, can John Beaton, right, John, what do you think of the game today? It was good, Ken, ebbed and flowed. I tried to keep it flowing as much as I can. I tried to referee the game in the right way, because I think that you hear about refs, you shouldn't referee any game different, but you should, depending on the level of player that you've got, depending on the atmosphere, depending on what's at stake, they should be able to come out and say, I thought that there was a few meaty tackles went in, might have got my cards out, but I thought I'd let it flow to see how it goes. But nah, they're hidden behind some weird No. We can't speak about it. And then the head of the referee board never comes out and says, Kim, we've spoken to such and such about this decision, it wasn't good enough. I kind of been a bit of a rant there, but
it's obviously something you're passionate about. It's fine.
I just think that there needs to be more transparency. We're talking about Scottish football being transparent. Let the refs just come out and speak.
Yeah. I mean, there's loads of suggestions of things that could have been done that can be done with the referees. I mean, I think there's obviously you look at rugby and stuff, miking them up, and obviously the likes of VAR and stuff, VR, whatever you want to call it. But obviously there's a financial issue with that. I'll have to wait and see what happens with it. But it definitely needs something done about it. You know, there's also do we make our referees full time? But is that going to make much of a difference? You know, there's all these different arguments. I mean, you know, we could talk about refereeing forever.
Brother Madden will still find a way about Brother Madden when he's full time or no. He'll still nip into the lodge.
The only other chances we had were Canberra held up and played it to Malin. Malin had a bit of a weak shot on his left foot from distance outside the box, and Aggie Pong, good run, good shot, which kind of had a bit of swerve on it. Keeper, you know, put it out for a corner just at the end of the game. How worrying is it? I mean, we've already kind of spoke about the lack of chances. 3 shots, all from the outside of the box. Dave?
Yeah, it's bad. That's what I mean as well. We weren't counter-attacking. We never had any shots from inside the box or outside the box. But even when you look at like crosses, we hit 7 balls into the box. Mm-hmm. We averaged 17. So that's like dramatic dip. Do you know what I mean? So what were we doing if we were not doing any of them? None. Rubbish is what the heck he said. So
Ryan Gould was on the bench and did not come on. Is this a sign that he won't be back next season?
I think so.
Aye,
I don't think there's a space for him with Scott Allen either.
Yeah, too similar.
Maybe not too similar. I think there's probably a better player there in Gould. But when's it ever going to show? I know it's really harsh to say because he's been out injured for so long. Kind of maybe chucking him in at Ibrox wasn't the greatest game for him to try and make an impact. Yeah. But at the same time, he clearly...
It's up to him to show it though.
Aye, no, you're right.
He's no, so...
we spoke about Fraser Murray and Ollie Shaw getting more game time and stuff, and we'll speak about who should get game times against Aberdeen. We'll speak about Aberdeen in a second. Finally though, in the post-match, the manager said that they've had to have some difficult conversations this week. Which players do you think you might be referring to in terms of, and do you think that means they're not getting new contracts or they're getting told to leave?
The squad's quite threadbare as it is. I would think that the 2 likely ones that he's spoken to are Bartley and I think Slivka.
Yeah.
I think because maybe Canberra as well, you know, a boot up the arse. Graham McGregor have just signed new long-term deals, so it's not going to be them. Hanlon, not going to be him. Stevenson's not going to be him. Really kind of narrows the options right down. So I would say the 2. I'd say Bartley and Slivka.
I didn't think I wanted to be Slivka.
Neither do I. Like I'm so caught in a because there's a player there. There 100% is a player there, but it's what's the right system for him? Because obviously last season was really difficult, given that he was McGeoch and McGinn, and then when we got Scott Allen in as well, he's not really getting a look in there. But no, he's just one of them. It's one of them where he's going to leave, and he's going to be class for whoever he goes to.
Any other names, Dave, coming into your mind?
Nah, it's just.
I mean, I can't imagine it being
speculating for the sake, but it's quite hard to think because, like you said, it's quite a thin squad.
It's fun to speculate, so speculate. Go.
But it's the like the word difficult comes in. Like, I could imagine Nelom, right? Cheers, mate. Spectre, see you later.
Yeah.
Daniel Johnson, churro. Bogdan, goodbye.
Yeah.
Like, where's the difficult one? The most difficult for me would be Bartley.
Mm-hmm. Could a difficult conversation have been had with Stephen Whittaker? Do you want to move into a coaching role at this club, or do you want to still play? If so, you need to go do it somewhere else.
I thought it was quite telling that, and I don't know if anybody else picked up on this, but when done his pre-match on Thursday, when they asked what's the squad looking like, and he said everybody's available apart for the 2 long-term boys, obviously meaning Boyle and Porteous. but no mention of Whittaker, who, as far as I could tell, when I was speaking at the Player of the Year night, he was out for the rest of the season.
No, so it's a good point. In fact, maybe picked up a wee slip there. Aye.
Do you think that could be a difficult conversation to have? Because, you know, obviously he's been at this club.
It's not going to be easy to tell anybody, you know, come look at me, you know, having your job anymore.
Aye, you're free to find a new club. Or do you think we would try and keep him on if he wanted to in a non-playing capacity, Whittaker?
How many coaches are we having? Like,
because the Graham McGregor thing's like coaching ambassador, like it's not really coaching, it's more mentoring. So
we can't keep on everybody that's had a connection with the club, or you're going to need to start building extensions on Eastmen's and like creating titles and under 13.5 leagues, like start introducing halves. You can't. What you gotta do?
I think somebody like Whittaker's a positive influence in the club, though. He's somebody who's came through the club as a youth player and arguably one of the most exciting teams that we've probably seen as Hibs fans. He's went away and been really successful with Rangers, been really successful with Norwich, played for Scotland however many times. Like, you can't really knock that level of experience back.
Yeah.
And he's quite sound as well. So
friends, because you were speaking to him for like 10 minutes.
I've been speaking for ages.
Aye, I'm sure if Kenny could get his way, he would give the three of them full-time contracts with Hibs TV or something, but I'm not going to get the budget for that. But aye,
get us through a contract for Hibs TV.
So Aberdeen, final game of the season. We'll kind of look back at the whole season as a whole next week after the Aberdeen game, but so we've still got Aberdeen to look ahead to. Talking about Aberdeen first, they're 10 points ahead of us, so you know, a bit to kind of crawl back next season on them. Killie currently have third on goal difference, so with them playing Rangers and Aberdeen playing us, who do you see getting third, considering how close it is?
Hopefully Killie. I mean, it's like choosing between what shady shite you want to stand in, but I'd just like to see this myth busted about McInnes. And it makes me think that we've not actually, we were horrific and we're only 10 points behind.
Yeah, and aye.
Because we were brutal for a period.
For a while.
Steve Clark's won Manager of the Year. McInnes is still getting plaudits, but we're 3 wins in a row of them.
Dave?
If we play anything like we've played the last couple of games, Aberdeen will get third. Because I think Rangers will beat Kilmarnock, and I think if it's anything like...
but they're all out on... The Rangers players are out on the town because it's blue apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, but I didn't want to talk about them.
So back to Aberdeen, how big a loss is Graham Shinnie going to be? Signed a pre-contract with Derby.
Massive. It's like out there McGinn.
Yeah.
Like just an absolute boss.
Was he out for the semi-final against Celtic?
He was.
In the cup, I was telling that they were leathered then.
He's been out for quite a while, and I'm surprised he came back. Like, and basically played down it against Hearts, which, by the way, what a game that was. And he kind of just controls everything, didn't he? So,
we've spoken about Hibs potentially having a big overhaul in the summer. Fair to say that Aberdeen could have a rebuilding job. Gary Mackay-Stevens' contract set to expire. We've already said about Shinnie. They've got loan players Greg Stewart, James Wilson, Max Slow, Dominic Ball and Tommy Hoban all set to leave. So yeah, quite an overhaul from that. They're all kind of starters really. Derek McInnes, we kind of touched on him slightly. Do you see him sticking around to do another rebuilding job?
I think it's a straight shootout between him and Clark for the Scotland job, to be honest.
That was my next question.
I think he'll stay.
Yeah.
I can't see him going anywhere else apart from Scotland. You'd maybe would get like a championship job, but obviously there's nothing really up there now. So
I think he's been a bit unfortunate that he's ran into Kenny's probably Aberdeen's most successful period since the 80s. They've got to final after final after final, and they've just came up against like a relentless Celtic team that just knows how to win trophies. Otherwise they would have
Celtic team.
Otherwise they would have had at least one. I mean, I know they won the League Cup. What was it, back in 2014 or 15 or something like that? But you could argue that they should have one or two more.
Aye.
It's just the opposition that they've ran into have just been completely relentless. Was it like 30 games in the cup they've went unbeaten? That's mental.
Yeah, they're relentless Celtic. So just yes or no, do you think this will be McInnes' last game at Aberdeen?
No.
No.
I think it will be.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's going to Scotland. Because I don't think Steve Clarke's taking it. I think he's going to be the Scotland manager. And the fact that they said 7 to 10 days, a couple of days ago, kind of implies that they're waiting until after they're finishing the season.
Maybe.
So, yeah, I think it's one of those two. And I think it's McInnes. That's my own opinion.
We're boring long ball football for Scotland.
We went through those questions. So, yeah, Hibs' point of view. Dave, how do you want to see us line up? You've kind of moaned about the fact that what would get you excited? What team sheet would get you excited?
If there's a single player on that pitch that can jog off after it, I'll be raging. I want everything into that last game as a thank you to everybody for the season.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be absolutely furious if it's just a nothing game and that's the way it's played. So I'd put Ajipong on the left. I'd play Fraser Murray on the right. I'd play Ryan Gauld. Like, give everybody a chance to be like, look, if you want to show, if you didn't want to show, then you're not even on the bench. Out. If you're not interested, that's how I'd play it. But I'm a fan though, so I'm talking more passionately than what Heckingbottom would maybe speak to them, like in the sense that they maybe look at it a bit differently, a bit more professional, being like, as the last game of the season, like we kind of know what we want, now you go. Nah.
How difficult a job do you think the manager's got? Because he spoke at the press conference last week about he had a word with the players and saying just because, you know, we've got nothing left to play for doesn't mean we've still got to put in a performance. He was very adamant that he'd had a long chat with them about that. So for them to then go out and just go, nah, like say, meh, how much does he, what kind of jobs he kind of got to kind of make sure that they turn up for this game?
I think he's quite ruthless.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll not be ruthless like Lennon, where it was like he'd fall out with them. Like, it'll just be I think he pretty much came up, if you're not going to put the effort in, there's the door.
Yeah.
Like,
I hope that's
the door's there. Like, there's thousands of players out there that could come in and do the job just as good, if no better. You're the one in charge of the jersey now. But if you didn't want to do it, then don't. So
created nothing of any significance in weeks.
2 goals in 23 games for your 2 strikers tells you everything.
Aye,
I know it's not 23 games can, but like 23 games.
Set up a system that we go for it, and like he always says, and he said a couple of times, if we get cut open by somebody playing good football, then fair enough. But I want to play on the front foot, no sitting and waiting, and because what I think he does is a lot of boring first halves, is he plays opposition and tries to like nullify their threats rather than being like, okay, we're the home team. Well, I'm not, their threat shouldn't concern me as much as what we should be like normally threatening them.
Mm-hmm.
He takes the sting out of games, which is fine, because it's like you say, then he tweaks it and then all of a sudden we're coming into it second half and went on a brilliant run. He's still got his own players. There's loads of things that shows that he probably is going to be a good manager for us, but I think the lack of creativity is concerning.
Just final question from me. Do you think he's learnt a lot of lessons about this squad, and maybe there is more change needed from the last 3 games? The disappointing draw to Hearts and then the 2 defeats. It was a good performance against Celtic. Let's not be honest, it was a good 0-0 draw. But after that, those 3 games, do you think he's kind of gone, maybe this squad needs more work than I thought in the summer?
I would think so.
I would think so as well.
Yeah. Okay, so quickly finishing up with some questions from you guys. Starting on Instagram, in the comments section, what do you think of the decision that the referee made regarding the penalty?
Sure.
Covered that,
Yeah,
never a penalty. How worrying is it that we've not scored an entire goal in the split bar the Barron goal? Again, covered that, but yeah, just quickly.
Very.
Aye.
Yeah.
Is Heckingbottom still the right guy for the job?
100%.
Aye, stupid question. Sorry.
Hecky's counter-attacking style versus Rangers of Celtic, not pretty, is it? I mean, Hecky got a lot of plaudits for his, good football. Fair to say that it's kind of not been the same sort of type of football since the split.
Yeah, well, no counter-attacks against Kilmarnock would suggest that we don't do counter-attacks.
Mm-hmm. How do you think Keaton's will do at Inverness?
Don't know, I've not seen him in 3 years since we won the cup, so
no seen him in donkeys now.
I actually came on again for Hamilton in the game we leathered them 6-1.
He's a good player. Set pieces and that. He'll be better than
he's a nice guy. Like
he's got as well. So
he's the one who ran the other way, so he'll always have a wee place in my heart.
Aye. Not Hibs related, but would Turnbull, Hasty or Ferguson should they have won the Young Player of the Year instead of Kent?
Turnbull should have won it. I think Hasty's had a good 3-4 months. Like Turnbull's double figures for goals, and I'm sure he's double figures for assists as well. He should 100%. He should have got it.
It's biased, isn't it? So,
so just like Morelos should have got played.
Would they have won it if they'd played for the Old Firm?
Aye, Turnbull would have.
Yep.
Well, we'll see next year if Hasty gets anywhere near it. He needs to get near the Rangers team.
Aye.
Which won't happen.
What can we expect from Aberdeen? We kind of spoke about that in the preview for the Aberdeen game. Favourite player and favourite thing the players have gave/done in a game for the club.
My favourite Hibs player. Does Scott Allen count as a Hibs player now? Aye, he does. I'm just saying him. Okay. Scott Allen.
Favourite player ever?
Sure, why not?
No, ever. Well, I can't pick Scott Allen over like say Sozzy or. I was a mad Stevie Fletcher fan too.
Keith Wright.
Barry LeVay, man.
Some boy.
Favourite current player would need to go with Marciano, I think.
Aye, it's a good one.
Yeah. Dave Gray.
Oh no, sorry, Lewis Allen.
For now.
Aye.
What players do you think we need to challenge for top 4? Well, I get rather than going at specific players, what positions do we need to strengthen in?
Wide areas. Actually, no. To be more specific, defence, midfield, and attack.
Yeah, I think we need a wee tweak in everyone.
Right. What is our best strike force? Would the return of Scott Allen help our strikers if we retain them? Do we need to look elsewhere to bring in some
help?
We could have Cucci up front and he'd bang them in with Scott Allen.
Aye, no, help. Scott Allen will help Cumberry massively.
Right. The top sides all seem to have a strong/physical leader in the middle of the park. In my opinion, Hibs don't currently have such a player. Would you make this a priority signing? Is that a bit unfair on Milligan?
Actually, can we I've just completely remembered this, right? How have we only just realised that Mark Milligan can ping throw-ins to the back post?
I didn't even see that bit.
Like this whole time we've been absolutely dug shit at throw-ins. And Milligan's got a Rory Delap-esque type throw on him.
Does he?
Aye.
I missed that bit.
I would just appreciate anybody throwing the
ball.
What?
Like
fast.
How has he been here for a year? And we've only just realised. Sorry, I just totally hijacked that.
That's
but
right.
I just realised, speaking about Milligan, I've totally remembered that.
But yeah, I would need to look into that. But yeah, strong physical leader in the middle of the park. I mean, Milligan.
That's unfair, Milligan, because I think Milligan's been really good.
Don't get me wrong. The defence, Louis, Paul.
Who else has got a strong? Because Rangers haven't got one, Celtic haven't got one, Aberdeen haven't got one.
Aberdeen,
Killie, you'd say Dicker. Was it Dicker in power?
Mm-hmm.
But like hard men, like Shinnie's smart, Brown's smart, Ryan Jack's a gimp.
Yeah, and I mean the defence is obviously brilliant. We love that back four, and obviously Marciano's great, but Milligan's been a big part of why we've been so well, kept so many goals out. So yeah, head to head versus each team was this year a success, and did results against the bottom 6 teams cost us Europe? Well, if anything, they got us back into the top 6 when Heckenbottom came in, but against Lennon,
this season has not been a success. No,
not a chance.
We'll review the season a lot more next week. Is Hecky losing the plot a wee bit? He started very positively, and now he's having a go at opposition players and officials. I'm not having a go, just wondering what you guys think.
I think he's just honest. Like when he spoke at the Player of the Year night, he clearly just, like him when he was like kind of standing on the touchline after half an hour, I just want to make changes because I'm bored. like the game's rubbish, kind of wants something to. I think he's just honest.
I don't mind a manager showing a bit of personality. I can't stand managers that just come in and they're like, yeah, like there's the same answers to the media and every week's boring as anything. So nothing.
Which I think he was doing to begin with. Because I mean, I've if I'm going to the press conferences,
friends.
A lot of the press were getting a bit frustrated with getting the same answers every week, and they're like, oh Christ, wish Hibs would just get beat so we get a different answer. But it seems to be in these little short outbursts, whether it's been the comment after the Celtic game or that one.
But I don't mind that, because that's what I'm thinking. I'd love to call Alex Bruce that. So the fact that he's just walking by him and diving past it, I think that's brilliant.
On that, well, no, I've never even commented on that. But I mean, he used to play with the guy. That'll be like a teammate sort of thing, and maybe he's kind of forgotten that opposition player match. And I know he'll be annoyed, but I mean, I used to work with you. I'd say something to you. I don't know. So, what do you think Hibs need to progress for next season? We touched on that one from another question. Who needs to be moving on in the summer? We already kind of spoke about different conversations, but is there anybody that you think needs to be leaving? He also says about Canberra's poor season. Should he be staying?
I think Canberra gets 6 months.
Aye.
His good work in the last 6 months of last season, I think, still buys him a bit of time, given the shyness that the whole team went through over that winter period.
I think he's got time because he's been out of position.
I think he's brilliant. I'd give him a 10-year deal. I love him.
Canberra.
Aye. Even when he's rubbish, I love him. If you could only pick one lone player to keep, who would it be?
Omeonga.
Oh shite. Aye, sorry, Omeonga. Aye.
Gold. I'd say if you could keep him permanently, work with him.
Nah, Omeonga.
Aye. Yeah.
Then Agipong.
So that's all the questions we've got. So thank you very much for commenting with your questions, guys. Sorry we're a bit rushed for time. We didn't have time to kind of go through everybody's name and answer them in a bit more depth, but aye. So thank you very much for coming along today, guys.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
And we'll next week we'll be doing sort of like a season review, looking back at the whole season as well as the Aberdeen game.
I cannot wait.
Yes. Sign me up.
So yeah, obviously talking about the first half of the season under Lennon, the whole thing with Lennon leaving, and then how it's been with Heckenbottom. So it'll be kind of split into nice 3 chapters. So it'll be a good podcast. I'm quite looking forward to it. I can actually start working on it now because it's no like we've got to wait for the stuff. So I'll let you go. I'll let you catch your train.
Thanks, mate.
And I'll let you take him
to his train.
Aye.
Thank you. Let's specify to the train, not taking me anywhere else.
Not tonight.
Not this night.
Right. Thanks for listening, folks, and we'll be back next week.